For cheap PoE currencies, visit aoeah.com. Check the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAD. Hello and welcome everybody. In today's PoE video, we'll take a look at the current tier list for the different Ascendancy classes. I'll also briefly discuss their pros and cons. Let's get started right away. Let's begin at the bottom with the D tiers. The Pathfinder is unfortunately not very strong in the current meta. His specialties are high mobility for ranged attacks and the use of flasks as weapons to inflict ailments on opponents. However, with the raw amount any build now is able to shoot without any movement impairments, and flask skills have been nerfed, so this class no longer offers any outstanding advantages. The Ritualist which I chose for my first build turns out to be rather weak in the endgame compared to others. The additional ring slot is indeed very powerful early on, but in the end it doesn't provide as much damage output as the Amazon nodes. Additionally, many unique items have been nerfed, including the belt which empowers the ring slots. The special ability to obtain mods from dead rare monsters unfortunately has a too short duration to be truly useful, which places the Ritualist in the D tier ranking. However, next week there will be a patch making it possible to switch the Ascendancy class, so we'll simply transform our Ritualists into Amazons. I'll also make a short video when reskilling, showing how big the damage difference due to the Ascendancy swap is, keeping the same equipment and passive tree. The Acolyte of Shayula also falls into the lowest category. The darkness effects poorly synergize with the rest of the skill tree, and since spirit points are replaced by darkness points, it is not possible to use the usual elemental buffs a monk benefits from. Unless someone figures out an overpowered darkness build, monks are probably better off with the Invoker. Moving on to the C tiers, we have the Chronomancer. With this specialization, the sorceress has a consistent damage output, as many spells remain on the ground and still deal damage while fleeing from monsters. However, sorceresses are typically neither particularly tanky nor very mobile, making this class quite rippy. You can use the different time effects to compensate for these disadvantages, but that requires very precise and focused gameplay. One bad move can also lead to unavoidable death. Next is the Blood Mage. This witch class stands out with some strong critical hit bonuses and nodes that enhance survivability. Nevertheless, due to a lack of build diversity, it remains in the C tiers. Comparatively, other classes can still achieve higher damage and kill speed. The Witch Hunter is currently the weakest Ascendancy class for the Mercenary. While it has very useful offensive skills like Culling Strike or the ability to make slain monsters explode, its survivability is rather poor. The Witch Hunter can get a barrier against elemental damage, but at the cost of some evasion rating and armor. In the B tiers, we find the Warbringer. This warrior class offers various cool build options, armor breaking, war cries and totems, as well as nodes that support shield usage. The only drawback? There are no nodes that increase the damage, so he only makes it to the middle tier. The Infernalist offers two fundamentally different build options, specializing in minions or transforming into a powerful demon form with high spell damage. That is very strong, but also risky, as you continuously lose a growing amount of life per second while in demon form. Therefore, resource management can become challenging. With her Hellhound, the Infernalist has a very useful tanking companion that draws monsters' attention, but however, the build diversity for minions seems quite limited. The Stormweaver previously was one of the most popular and strongest classes, but significant nerfs have brought it down to the B tier. The skills themselves still work, Arcane Surge remains a strong offensive buff, and the various elemental effects still makes the Stormweaver the best option for sorceresses. But it is no longer as overpowered as before, and has difficulties to compete with the advantages of other builds. The Invoker also was one of the strongest and most popular classes, with elemental builds achieving very high DPS values and melting down bosses in no time. Similar to the Stormweaver, the builds still work, but have been nerfed by the patch so they no longer stand out. Therefore, the Monk remains in the middle tier. The Gemling was like a rock star, with builds featuring expensive unique items and high attribute stacking, achieving over 1 million DPS. Essentially, not much has changed for the Gemling himself, he still offers the same advantages as before. Extra skill slots, multiple usage of support gems, or meeting requirements by the highest attribute. This provides plenty of room for character building. However, many of the popular unique items got heavily nerfed, resulting in a great damage loss. Builds that once had over 1 million DPS now dropped to much less than 100,000. Overall, the Gemling still is valued in A tier, but the players have to come up with some new ideas here. The Smith of Kitava enters the game as an A tier, offering two very special advantages. You can create your individual piece of body armor with powerful affixes, and you can make him very durable by easily getting full resistances and exceeding the maximum. There are also options to build up strong synergies with the element fire, so lots of unique potential to find here. The Tactician is with the A tiers as well. Various build strategies can be implemented, like using totems or banners, or pinning enemies. Skillfully placing the new ballistas allows for high and consistent damage output, and there is a strong buff for group play which benefits the entire party. The Lich class for the Witch also got rated as an A tier. She has strong offensive and defensive nodes, and currently Chaos and Minion builds seem to dominate. The class offers interesting possibilities, but seems to be more demanding in terms of character building. The potential here is kinda special, but it can release much power. Now we've reached the top 3 Ascendancy classes, which are all ranked as S tiers of course. Here we got the Deadeye, which is clearly the better option to choose for rangers. There are no defensive nodes here, but options like an extra projectile, more attack speed or a damage boost are definitely some great support. Since this class already was very strong and popular before, and not much has changed for it, the Deadeye Ranger stays at the top. The Titan also achieves an S tier ranking. It has many useful nodes for aftershocks, heavy stunts or empowered attacks, and the nodes Earthbreaker and Surprising Strength have been buffed by the patch. Additionally, one of the strongest nodes in the game can be found here. Hulking Form boosts all small passive skill nodes by 50%. This is undeniably very powerful and significantly helps increasing the damage output. Finally, The Amazon is also classified in S tier, of course. This class offers very strong options in the Ascendancy tree, such as bonus damage scaling with the weapon's accuracy, mana and life leech for elemental damage, or the double effect for flasks, allowing mana flasks to replenish life and vice versa. There's also a new damage mechanic called Weakness, which enables more efficient combat against elite monsters and bosses. In the end, the Amazon has both high map clearing speed and excellent boss killing qualities. I slightly underestimated this potential in my initial choice, as I was lured by the additional ring slot and picked the Ritualist. It still has the advantage that you can build cheap and easily maximize your resistances. For a long time, my damage output was similar to comparable Amazons, but in the advanced endgame, I noticed that Amazons are outmatching my damage. Just as mentioned, the upcoming patch will allow to reskill the Ascendancy class, so I'll switch to Amazon and show you the changes. Moreover, I'm tempted to build a warrior, and I'm currently torn between the Titan and the new Smith. I guess I'll decide while running through the story. I say goodbye, take care, and may the loot be with you.
Don't drink the water. See you.